Hello everyone, so this video will be giving my thoughts on the very first volume of Mushoku Tensei. Now I'm aiming to get a video covering each volume out every 2 weeks or so, but you know, there may be some problems down the road for that, you know, like me waiting for my copy of like a certain volume because I'm actually buying these all on paperback. So, you know, but we'll cross those bridges when, you know, when we get down to it. But without further ado, let's just dive right into Mushoku Tensei Volume 1. Okay, so I would say Mushoku Tensei Volume 1 mainly focuses on world building. Like, we learn about all the different types of like magic, like their levels and swordsmanship. We also learn about all the different schools and what they specialize in, being it magic or swordsmanship. Or I think there's one that actually combines the two. I could be wrong, but you know, I think there is one. And we also learn about like the labyrinths that adventurers explore, and we also learn about some of the kingdoms in this world. But I'm just gonna say it, there was a lot of information about the world in this volume, and there's a lot to remember, so I'm hoping that we get like a little, like, I don't know, like recap paragraph in future volumes just to refresh the mind on it. And I can't be the only one, but I hope like a Mushoku Tensei guidebook comes out, you know, like going like over like the different kingdoms and so on and so forth, because I really would like to have it, and I think some other people would as well. So moving on, I think the characters so far have been very interesting in this series. I mean, I got introduced to Roxy and Sylphie. Now, I have seen like their like character designs for, I think, for the anime. I was bored before Volume 1, and obviously that was, you know, thanks to like Twitter and Instagram. But you know, in this volume I got like get to see like their personalities, and I do believe I'm getting introduced to the third love interest of Rudy, which is next volume, I believe. But we'll get to that when it gets there. But for right now, mainly concerning Rox and Sylphie, if I had to pick like a favorite right now between the two, I would have to pick Roxy, mainly because I feel like she's more interesting at the moment. But hey, I could be jumping the gun considering, you know, I've only just read the first volume. Okay, there are 3 characters in this series that I'm currently at 50-50 with, and they are Paul, Lily, or Lilith, I can't remember which is her right name, and Rudius. And let me explain why. So Rudius does have his, like, you know, moments, like how he protected Sylphie from the bullies, and how he made, you know, Lily stay after all that happened. But there's just something about Rudius that, like, puts me off. I don't know what exactly it is. I just hope that it, like, goes away in future volumes, because obviously he's the main character. But moving on, Lily to me is a curveball. Like, I love learning about, like, you know, how she became the maid of the household, you know, and how she knew, like, you know, Paul before obviously becoming the maid. And I thought that was really interesting. But the reason I'm 50-50 with her is because obviously what Paul and her did. And if you've either read or watched Mushoku Tensei, you know what they did. I'm not gonna, you know, say it on camera. I really don't want to get in trouble. And last but not least, Paul. Now, again, what he and Lee did was absolutely wrong. And it does feel like he didn't learn his, like, you know, mistake after it. And some of his parenting stuff with Rudius could be seen as questionable, but I do feel like at like the very end of the volume he was just trying to do right by Rudius, even though it does seem a little bit more questionable. Okay, I'm not sure if anybody's actually going to agree with me on this, but I think that Zenith Greyrad is absolutely underrated. Like, you know, we got that bonus chapter at the very end of the volume, like, you know, giving us her background and all that, which I was absolutely happy for, because we got to learn about, you know, like Paul and Lily before we, like, you know, got to know like Zen's background. So, and I feel like she's more like, you know, like very level-headed, like, you know, because after obviously everything happened with Paul and Lily, like, she had absolutely every right to, like, either chuck both of them out or take Rudius herself and leave the village, but she chooses not to. And I thought that was really, like, you know, very calm of her and like very level-headed. But all in all, I do think she's an underrated character, and I hope, you know, we do get a few mentions of her in future volumes. But overall, I really enjoyed this first volume of Mushoku Tensei. I love learning about, like, you know, the world, I mean, like the main character and some of the other characters. I'm really looking forward to reading volume 2, which is literally right here in my hand. And, you know, I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens in this series. And that's the end of, you know, this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you watch the next one, okay? See ya!